Okay, so when we talked about Cezanne, we talked about his equation as a triangle, a triad. There was his investigation of his perception, his empirical experience of his visual perception, and really drilling down, what am I seeing? Where's the edge? Using both eyes, letting his head turn, all of those things. What, right? So there was the investigation of his visual perception, nature, that was always moving and changing. Then there was the demand of the rectangle, the ongoing development of the composition, and his desire for a dynamic equilibrium. So as he would put things down in response to his perception, he was also aware of how they were relating to each other in the rectangle and in relation to the four sides of the rectangle, right? And we talked about Poussin and how Cezanne wanted to arrive at that kind of classical structure of a Poussin in terms of compositional structure. But he wanted to arrive there on the fly, like an impressionist, improvisationally, the same way that he was responding to his visual perception. So those were two demands, the demand of nature, the demand of the composition. And the third aspect of the triad of his equation had to do with his inner sensation and how he would respond. He was aware of his own subjective experience in response to his perception, in response to the compositional development. So his subjectivity became an important part of the equation. He wasn't imagining to himself that he was somehow just rendering some objective depiction. The perception was going through him. He was responding from inside him. Same with the composition. So there was this triangle for his equation. And that same triad is occurring in Matisse. And so you have the motif that he's responding to, his perception of form, like what we were looking at there with the water in the glass and the form of the pewter jug and all of these things, the light coming in, right? And composition, we haven't quite gotten to that, but we'll look at the way Matisse is working composition. It's quite profound and full. That's a huge player in Matisse, is the way he works the composition. And all of this is coming through his inner sensibility. His intuition is this huge player. That's how we arrive at that crazy situation behind Marguerite with the room in fireworks, or all kinds of distortion, all kinds of changes that go on, all kinds of visual, decorative, color shaping, all kinds of decisions visually. Visual decisions come out of his inner sensibility. So that triangle carries on in Matisse.